Hi, I'm Pio, a writer for Ratings.com. Today we'll look at LG's latest Ion Gallery series OLED, the LG G3. This year, the G3 introduces micro lens array technology, or MLA, to increase its brightness to impressive levels. While in the past we've recommended that users get LG's cheaper C-series OLED, like the LG C3, the addition of MLA this year makes the G3 attractive for anyone who wants the brightest OLED possible. The G3 is available in 55, 65, 77, and 83-inch sizes. We tested the 65-inch version, but they all performed the same. The LG G3 looks fantastic. Its back looks like textured metal, but it's smooth throughout and is quite pleasant to the touch. It has very slim bezels, and the entire panel is contoured with a good-looking silver strip. The TV is extremely thin, less than an inch at its thickest point. It's emphasized by the completely flat back, highlighting one particularity of LG's Gallery OLEDs. They don't come with a stand. Instead, they come with a slim wall mount. The stand you see here is the official LG stand that we installed to help us review the unit. This adds an additional cost of around $150 US for the 55-inch and 65-inch stand, while the stand for the 77-inch or 83-inch panel is around $200. Note that these covers come with the official stand, so that's a bonus if you splurge on it. Of course, you can get a third-party one on Amazon for much cheaper. As you can see, cable channels on the back end with a clip meant to help funnel cables down and out from the bottom center of the panel. There are 4 HDMI inputs, which all carry an HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. That means full support for 4K resolution running at 120Hz with 10-bit HDR for all of your connected Ion PCs and consoles. It also supports every VRR technology for a nearly tear-free gaming experience. One of the HDMI ports supports Enhanced Audio Return Channel, or eARC, which is great if you want to plug in a soundbar. eARC ports use HDMI 2.1 bandwidth to support advanced audio formats, but we'll touch on that later. Like all OLEDs, the G3 has a near infinite contrast ratio and perfect dark inky blacks that we keep raving about. In dark rooms, OLEDs truly shine, and this one is no different. There's no blooming around bright highlights, as pixels can independently light themselves up without affecting the surrounding pixels, and the black uniformity is perfect. However, the LG G3 is no slouch in bright rooms either. It's a very bright OLED. It's partly due to its MLA layer. MLA acts as a focusing lens of sorts. It enhances the white luminance emitted by the G3's OLED panel, making the G3 extremely bright. Indeed, the G3 isn't just bright for an OLED, it's bright for a TV full stop. It does lose a bit of brightness in HDR when in game mode, but it's already so bright that you won't notice the difference. The TV is also very bright in SDR, ensuring that your hockey games, classic movies, or TV shows look good. In theory, the TV's MLA layer shouldn't increase the risk of burn-in, as it doesn't make the TV work much harder to reach its high brightness levels. We won't know for sure until the TV has been in our longevity test for a few months though. However, as with many OLEDs, the G3 has an aggressive automatic brightness limiter, or ABL. So when watching content with large areas of brightness, like a hockey rink for example, the TV dims itself significantly, which is true for both HDR and SDR content. For example, we've had this image running for about an hour, and the TV is significantly dimmer than it is at its maximum brightness right now. I have a 77-inch LG C2 myself, and it has never bothered me, but your mileage may vary. Not only is the TV bright, but its brightness closely follows the creator's intent. We can see that on this TV's exemplary PQE UTF tracking. Sadly, the TV isn't as color accurate as its brightness is, but it's a bit of a nitpick on a TV that is otherwise stellar in most things. You won't notice any color issues with your LG G3 unless you're a professional. For the gamers amongst you, the G3 has you covered. Its input lag is extremely low, so your inputs will almost instantly be transferred to your on-screen avatar. Even the most competitive gamers will be satisfied with this TV's input lag. The TV also has a fantastic response time, which is unsurprising for an OLED. Motion in your games will be crisp, and you'll be able to focus on what matters rather than be lost in the blurry mess of blur. This also works well for fast-paced action outside of games, like when you're watching sports. Now that we've gotten the big stuff out of the way, let's discuss some smaller details. The TV has very good gray uniformity. LG's OLED panels show some slight pink vertical banding, which isn't noticeable in action except in rare circumstances. The TV's updated processor promises advanced upscaling capabilities for both video and audio. It works well. The TV has good video upscaling capabilities. They're not the best we've ever seen, but they get the job done. Your low resolution or low bitrate content will look good and sharp on this TV. The G3 does have spectacular low quality content smoothing, so you won't see any macro blocking in dark areas. As for audio upscaling, The TV upscales 2-channel audio into a virtual surround using its AI sound technology if you're using the TV's internal speakers, which are quite decent on this TV actually. The bass is bad, like with most TVs, but it has a 4.2 speaker setup that does a fairly good job of outputting something akin to a surround sound experience. You still need the soundbar for the best sound experience, of course. Speaking of sound, did we mention that LG now supports DTS on the G3? This wasn't the case previously. Your Blu-rays and DVDs will now sound their best, as they tend to use DTS audio formats to encode their surround sound audio tracks. When combined with this TV's support of Dolby Vision, this TV is a spectacular choice for home entertainment center. Finally, LG is still using the same magic remote they've been using for the past few years. It works well, and you can use it as a pointer to select content. The TV uses a 2023 version of webOS, which is easy to navigate and feels fast and snappy. So there it is. We've covered the LG G3. So should you buy it? Well, if you're looking for one of the brightest OLEDs, cost be damned, then yes, you should probably buy it. We currently rank it as the best overall OLED on the market. So if you're after the best of the best, this could be it for you. But there are some caveats, however. In actual usage, the TV's brightness never really hits the heights that it does in our test patterns. The reason is that most content just doesn't require or highlight this level of brightness. In some scenes, like a bright sunny day with white clouds, the clouds will be brighter on the G3 than on other OLEDs. But aside from that, it's not always super obvious. This means that when next to a TV with lesser brightness levels, like the cheaper LG C3 OLED, the difference in brightness isn't as big as you would expect. We'd recommend the C3 for most people, as you're getting most of the performance for less money. That said, if you're expecting to watch your OLED in a bright room, the G3 looks better in that context. Indeed, it's the first OLED we have ever mentioned in our Best TVs for Bright Rooms article. Also, while the G3 is currently the brightest OLED on the market, the Samsung S95C outputs brighter, more vibrant colors. This means the G3 could look slightly faded compared to its primary competitor due to the S95C's QD OLED panel. Conversely, the G3 does support DTS for your Blu-rays, as well as Dolby Vision, but the S95C doesn't, making the G3 a more interesting proposition for a home entertainment center. Of course, as with any OLED, there's a risk of burn-in. But for most users, burn-in won't be an issue, especially if you vary the content on your screen. But for example, we don't recommend using it as a PC monitor, where static elements stay on the screen for long periods of time. This could increase the chances of burn-in. If you want to see how this TV stacks up against other OLED models in terms of burn-in, we've added it to our longevity test, so stay tuned for that. Well, that concludes our review of the LG G3. You can check out more in our written review, linked in the description below. Until next time, I'm P.O. from RTINGS.com, where we help you find the best product for your needs. This is a static image, so the TV is dimming itself. Static image. It doesn't like that. You know, it knows that it's been showing taxis for 2 hours, and it's like, I don't love it. It's dim. Like, this is obviously dim right now.